The empowering component of the Create Classroom is centered around student voice. It's centered around the idea of giving students the opportunity to not only talk, but to talk with substance, with evidence, and with the intent to change things. And so that's something we really work towards in this class. We start with Coffee Talk. This is the biggest component of what we do in class. Coffee Talk is a student-facilitated discussion that starts every class period. That means the day before a student is selected, that student then has the job of either taking the content from the day before and reviewing it with students, or taking the content from the day before and creating a relevant discussion, something about how it affects their daily life. For my debate classes, it's easier. They simply select a current event and then they begin to work through that. It gets a little bit more complex, though, as we further throughout the year. We start adding components of, if you create a problem, if you discuss a problem, you need to present a solution as well. So it provides students an opportunity to start thinking creatively about how can you change the world? How can you make a difference? We also have a second component where it will be a crossfire, where two students will actually facilitate with two opposing viewpoints, and students can interact and choose which side they support by asking questions of each. These are just some simple ways in which the Coffee Talk can work. I believe very soundly that it can work in a debate class, a social studies class, a math class, an English class, or a science class. There's actually been some research done and some discussion done about how math students, maybe they could present a problem, create their own equation, their own problem for their students to solve, and walk their peers through that. That would be a great type of coffee talk that could be done. Or even in science, they have to come up with a scenario and they have to solve for a certain situation, or find a certain component to the chemical structure they might be missing. So there's definitely different ways that will work in different classes. I believe that Coffee Talk is very powerful, and I believe that it gives students a chance to have a voice. Students begin to work together, and they find empowerment in conversation, that they talk to each other and they share each other's ideas. They find encouragement and sometimes correction to help make their ideas stronger. Students are also working together to design projects, to build things in this particular classroom, things that are actually going to go into process. My debate classes currently are designing a tournament that they will host later on this year to raise money for the speech and debate program. There are tons of ways to give students power and a way to impact their community. Students are also given power to think in different ways and creatively and design new societies. So in my sociology classes, they're designing a perfect world, a society that will make a difference and be different than the one that we have, perhaps correcting some wrongs and making some strengths even stronger here in society. A word of caution here. The power that we give students in student voice is sometimes intoxicating. And you have some students who are going to want to dominate the conversation, who are going to want to control things. So you have to figure out ways in which to monitor that, to kind of help give everybody an equal amount of voice in the classroom. You also have to be aware of another factor. Sometimes students' opinions are not clean and they're not neat. Sometimes things are said that challenge you as an educator, as a human being. What you do in that moment is what makes you a stronger person. But at the same time, it's also what makes them stronger students and more well-rounded individuals. The moment when a student says something inappropriate, says something shocking, is not a moment to freak out and abandon the idea of student voice and giving a chance for students to understand things. It is instead a moment, a teachable moment for that student, for the entire class, and for you as a teacher. I would vastly rather have a student say something inappropriate, do something wrong, offend another student in my classroom, where I can monitor, I can adjust, I can help them to see the error in what they've done and make them a better communicator, rather than have them have this same conversation on the street, in the public square, where there's no one there who cares, where there's no one there who's there to guide them to a better way to communicate, a better way to share their ideas, and a better way to have an empowered student and an empowered individual. That's the beautiful part of the empowerment part of the Create Classroom. Students need to feel that their voice matters. Students need to feel that they can make changes in their school and in their community and in their world. The Create Classroom gives them a small platform and the opportunity to take a chance.